Hey, it's Fear. I just want to let you know the episode of FEARCast you're about to listen to is from season 1, so it's old and the material might not be relevant. The conversation's still good, but the band may or may not be still together. The person making movies might not be doing it anymore. But just in case, I wanted to put it out there so you guys can check it out. And also Google the bands, see if anybody's still around. And if you hear music you like, there you go. Also, check out any of the movies mentioned because movies are always still around. Well, I guess unless they pull them away. Anyway, it's an older episode, but a good episode, so I wanted to put it out. Stay tuned, nftfyb.com for everything new. And I hope you come back and enjoy season 2. We're getting some new guests and getting this thing going. So check out the other podcasts, Talk Life Pod, A and Way, and of course, FEARcast. So run along, kiddies. Are you ready? And welcome to FEARcast, everybody. I'm your host, Fear Innes, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with who I think is just a hero when it comes to film. Ivan Djurovic. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, Sean. Thank you for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure.
No, for sure. I got the screener for the film just a couple of weeks ago and instantly fell in love with it. I'm talking about It Watches, and it's such a really good sort of mind meld. I went in thinking one thing, and by the end of it, my mind had been blown at least twice.
Well, I mean, mission accomplished, I guess. That's definitely something that we really strive for. And to be honest, we had quite a struggle, getting there. But hearing this and getting that validation is huge. It's absolutely wonderful to hear that it works.
Yeah, no, I totally think it does. Now, give us a little background. First, let's talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll lead into how the film came to fruition.
Absolutely. So, well, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to bring up how just a moment before we started, we were talking about names, and my nationality, my family, my parents are from Serbia, Belgrade. And I'm first generation. They moved here, and they actually moved to Chicago, and that's where I was born. But it's definitely been an interesting thing where I have a more traditional name. The English way of saying it is Ivan Djurovic, or the Serbian way is Ivan Djurovic. So I've got that wonderful, fun obstacle to go around, trying to get people to say the name right. But I'm blessed for it because I got to spend all my summers in Europe and, got a different perspective on life and how, people live around the world. So from a very young age, I was always putting on little shows, skits for families and friends. And like anytime we had a party, I was either by myself doing it, dressing up and putting on shows, or getting all my close friends, family friends to do it along with me. But my big, I guess you could say, life-changing moment was I got cast in 8th grade to play Prince Charming in Cinderella.
Nice.
In the musical. And I actually was cast in both because they had 2 separate casts. I was cast in both. And I'll never forget it. That first night, opening night, was just the most. You can't really put it into words. It was just magical. It was an immediate type of, I need more of this, and I want to have it at all times. So I went home directly afterwards, and I told my parents, I was like, I'm finishing high school early, and I'm going to LA to become an actor. And that's that. And fortunately, I have an amazing family that's super supportive. They obviously have been always worried and definitely put out the proper questions of me being safe and, making sure to have backups, or not backups, but ways of, bringing in money until acting actually picked up. But yeah, so I kind of pretty much went along with that path. I went and lived in Europe for a year prior to moving out to LA, but I've been here for 10 years now, and this movie is an unconventional way of, I mean, now it's become more conventional, but it's something that when I met Dave Parker, who I made the film with on a TV show he was directing, we started talking about how we wanted to do something unique and different and have it be, our own. And that's where it all began. But it's interesting because you there's so many different ways of going in this industry and trying to succeed. And there's no right or wrong way, which is kind of an amazing thing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I figured I'm going to go along the normal path and, audition and go to class and all that stuff. But then going a little bit off the beaten path and create something entirely on our own and do it entirely on our own and see, if we can succeed in that. And hopefully people take notice. And if they do, great. If they don't, we at least tried something else. And so that's been, it's been a journey. It's really been a journey, but the best part about it all is you can't be taught the things that you learn when you take on such an endeavor on your own. It's like the best schooling ever in every sense of the film industry.
Yeah, real sort of.
I just realized I just went a little bit off. I went from tell us about yourself to all of a sudden, immediately I end up talking about the movie.
No, that's okay. That's probably the instinct in the back of your head. Like, yeah, that's good. You went to Europe. Shut the fuck up. Tell them about the movie.
I mean, it is. Anyone that knows me knows that this has been such a big part of my life, and we're days away. We're under a week away from it actually being released to the world, and it's so. I love the question. When do you feel like you've succeeded, or when is it time to give up and that type of stuff? I've had people all my life say that to me. And if you know me, I'm a very stubborn person. When I put my mind to something, you better believe I'm going to, in one way or another, end up with that, what I'm looking for. So it's an interesting question to me, like, when do you feel like you succeeded? I am very difficult on myself, and until the movie actually is out there, the movie's not done. Yeah. But truth be told, however the movie's perceived and however, well it does, I have succeeded because I started something from the beginning and I saw it through to finish. And it's not about people loving or hating the movie. It's about them actually feeling something for it, mm-hmm. going to watch it and not just forgetting about it. I'm equally okay with people not liking me as long as it's causing them to actually interact about it, question what we did. That to me is a success.
Well, and that kind of makes sense. So and I was kind of curious, and I don't know that I've asked any of the other folks I've talked to about it, but do you sort of mentally prepare yourself? Like, some people may not like it. What would my response be to said thing you think might put them off?
I mean, I've dealt firsthand with, not everyone can handle it. It's 100%. I know people who won't read reviews, who will stay away from comments, which the comments generally you're best staying away from anyway, because there's so many people that just kind of thrive on bashing.
Oh yeah. We live in a troll nation at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Where they, it's almost like you would think that they're getting paid to do it because they do it so well and they do it so much. So I stay away from that, but not everyone's made for getting, criticism. And fortunately, I'm thankful that if someone's taking the time to do it, maybe I'll learn something from what they're saying. Maybe I won't. But at the same time, they're taking the time and energy to watch the movie, one, and two, to actually say something about it. Yeah. Maybe they're going to point something out that I never would have noticed. And I mean, that was a really big part about when we were making the movie. Dave and I made it very clear to our amazing cast and crew that without them, this would never have been possible. And, towards the end, I really want to throw out some names out there that deserve, some credit. But, we told them, it was just, first off, the most important thing is please and thank you. Doesn't cost a penny, but it goes a long way. Use it with each other. It's absolutely crucial. And then the other part was we wanted them to feel like they had, a say in the movie, and we said, if you have an idea, please share it. Not that we were going to definitely use it, but who knows? Maybe you have $1 million idea and we wouldn't know it unless you said it. It's the creative, film industry is all about, collaboration and sharing ideas. And so I'm all for it. And honestly, it's hard when you see someone say something, foul about you or your performance. But at the same time, you go into this business, or you should go into this business expecting exactly that. Same thing with, a lot of the bigger celebrities. I get it. It's got to be very difficult to go out there or not to be able to go outside because of paparazzi. But before you get involved that you are possibly going to be in that situation. And so for anyone to be mad about that, it's just, it's frustrating, but go take a vacation and come back. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's funny.
Watch 10 years from now, I'm going to be biting my lip listening to this and be like, if you only knew. Yeah, exactly. Damn bastard.
Yeah. What was I doing? But that's what's funny, man. We do the podcast, plus we do a bunch of YouTube videos and silly shit like that. And YouTube, some of the most vile shit gets said on there. And going into it, I sat down because I do it with my brother-in-law, my wife, and I'm like, look, I've been all over the internet. People are fucking horrible. Just be mentally prepared for that. And I going into it, you kind of know what's going to happen. So I don't mind if you trash me, but you do it really well. Then I'm like, okay,
be creative about it. If you're going to do it, at least burn me really bad, but don't just be an internet troll that goes around bashing people saying stupid stuff. If you're going to do it, I want you to really work at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Earn the burn.
Earn the burn. That's awesome. Exactly. Because every once in a while, someone will be like, "You guys are fat and dumb." I'm like, I know I'm fat and dumb. That you can't say that, but come up with a creative way to get around that to why your opinion based on what we did was not good. Fuck, I comment right back. You know what? You got me. That's it. But other than that,
at that point, you almost got to be like, you got me. Are you going to send me some donuts? If you're going to say it, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't just come on swinging and not send the donuts. That's a dick move. But that's so cool, man. Looking back now, was the film originally called something else?
It was originally called something else. It was originally called Cold Water, but for several reasons. Once we got linked up with our distributor on Cork Entertainment, we had some conversations, and another movie actually that was shot after us came out before us because they had this distribution lined up prior to them shooting. And so, that was a very large playing factor. You don't want people to mix up two different movies. Right. You want to stand out and be your own and whatnot. And, it was a very fitting name at the time, and it was kind of difficult to change. But now I'm so happy we did. We rebranded it, gave it a different name, changed the poster, and I think that it's great, and I think it's very fitting. And at the end of the day, a name's a name. It's not gonna define what your movie is. What's going to define it is, taking the time, because it's completely free to write a good story. A lot of people rush through that and they don't realize, you want to cut budget costs, do it in the writing, do it, where it counts, and that really was something that we tried to do. We went back and back again and back again. We went over it 1 million times. And even before we started shooting, we went through it and we would read it out loud, and I would say, okay, what would I do in this situation? We didn't want at any point for it to be that type of thing where it's like, come on, like that's so like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, like, why don't you just do that? Like, which I'm sure there's plenty of points that are still in there, but we really tried our hardest to go back and have it, from the pen to the paper, as solid as possible.
No, and that is one thing that I did, like, I really did enjoy was, like I said, I came into it thinking it was one thing, and then it slowly does this switch over the film, and it's like, honestly, dude, it's really good. Like, there's certain parts where, like, there's a scene where James Duvall comes in, and it seems slightly odd in the context of the film that you're watching, but then as it turns, you start going, oh shit, oh, this makes way more sense now. Holy shit. And then by the end of it, I just like sitting in my house, like just clapping. This is weird. I'm doing it by myself, but very good. Very good.
No, I mean, that's the biggest compliment. And honestly, thank you so much. Well, interestingly enough, when you see in the movie when he knocks on the door and I open it, that was the first time I ever met him.
Oh yeah,
and I knew that we hired him, and since then he's actually become one of my really, really close friends. But thanks to Dave being the director that he is, he wanted a lot, and he did it in many different ways throughout the filming, where there would be certain areas that he would go in and change something or not tell me that he planned something a little bit differently. And so he specifically made it so that there was no interaction and no chance for interaction prior to filming the first scene. And when I opened the door, that, was that. And then afterwards it was like, oh, hey man, like, pleasure to meet you. Thank you for doing this, And, but it was really cool because it gave such an authentic feel to it,
Yeah. And that's just it. That's a great quote because it does. It's like even from the trailer, you kind of go into it, you think it's like your typical found footage, and that's how it kind of plays out, like slightly more real than you would expect from
it's interesting because someone else watched, I don't know, I guess they're known for watching trailers, and they sit down and they talk about it, and they were bashing it so bad, but they don't even know what the movie is because they're like, oh, it's for a found footage movie because that's what it is, because it has found footage in the trailer, so that means the whole movie's found footage. Exactly. They're like, this is boring, and I'm like, well, to each his own, but you don't know what it is at all. You're basing something off of nothing, and you're lost if you don't decide to watch it.
Well, and like that's the oldest quote ever, right? Like, don't judge a book by its cover, don't judge a movie by its trailer.
Well, yeah, and like, yes, there is some found footage, but we actually shot the movie experimental. There's 3 different styles of shooting the movie, which we didn't know if it would work. Thankfully, it did. But we used the traditional POV, we used the handheld camera, and we used security footage. And we really, I mean, when Dave and I first started hanging out, we went and saw Paranormal Activity, and it was really cool to see how effective that movie was. And afterwards, we were talking, and we immediately were like, every like filmmaker or new filmmaker is going to be trying to do this, trying to replicate it. Everyone and their mother. We were like, well, what can we take from this? And we noticed, the big thing was the handheld camera was used as a tool in certain moments to create more, unnerving feeling and scares and whatnot. And so that's kind of where we got the idea, where it was like, okay, if we're going to do this, how can we use this as a tool rather than have it be throughout the whole movie?
Mm-hmm. No, that's what works.
Yeah.
Like an accent piece almost.
Exactly. I mean, it's the type of thing where, you use certain lenses for certain shots because that shot needs to have that framing and it's going to create that feel. And that same type of thing where it's like, okay, like if you want the tension to grow in a certain moment, if you use it properly, it's going to create more tension than a regular shot would.
It's the same with for a long time, everybody would concentrate on the score. The score was what's going to tell you how you should feel. And then you got films that said, you know what, we'll drop the score. What if there's nothing? Because silence is fucking scary.
Well, yes and no. I agree. And we actually, now that you bring up score, we wanted a lot of natural tones and a lot of silent moments where it's just the house and myself. However, we had an amazing composer, Frederick Wiedemann, who he made a very unique style score, and he had it where it really played with the movie. It wasn't. It's so perfectly created for our movie that you couldn't really use it for anything else. And then on top of that, Justin Cruz and Scott Jennings did our sound design and mixing, and they, really helped go in and pinpoint certain sounds in the house, things that needed to be accentuated because there's not a whole lot of other sound going on. And through, all that going together, it creates that extra tension, and along with, the visuals that Will Barrett. I mean, it was so amazing that Dave and I, were doing this movie, and to have a DP that was so fearless and so willing to try new things. Will Barrett, who's done a lot of, he's done a bunch of movies like the Hatchet movies and Frozen, and he's constantly working. Everyone loves to work with him. He's an awesome guy, and he's so good at what he does. But he came into our shoot, and we had some different ideas, and he was all for it. He's like, all right, let's do it. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. And even with our limited time and budget, there was never a point where we were rushing. There was never a point where we just said, screw it. Like, we got enough. We always got what we wanted and then moved on, which is amazing. And it really is a testament to our crew.
Amen. No, that was fantastic. And so when you were sitting down and you were working on this and writing this, did you always have in mind that you would kind of pull the lead?
It's an interesting question. So when we first started talking about it, we had we knew that we had a location, and an amazing location at that. So we got the idea. Originally, it was actually a short film idea. It was a bit different, but it had sort of the same tone, and it all went back to, again, we just wanted to be working, we wanted to be doing something, and slowly but surely it started developing into something so much more. And at first, it wasn't really set in stone type of thing, but the more that it was developed, Dave was kind of like, you should definitely do this. Like, the character, you have more involvement, like, for all the different variables. And so, at first it wasn't a guaranteed thing. I'm very thankful for his and and believing in me. But, it was a challenge, it's a different type of role, and especially for something where, it's all hands on deck, and it's all of our time and money invested into it. To have to prepare, and also on top of it, knowing that a lot of the movie is going to be myself, in this house, that was a little bit daunting, where it's like, there's moments about it where it's like, oh man, I hope people are like, I'm keeping them engaged, and just stuff that you normally in a film are worried about, but plus, all the other things that are added on because of the style of the movie. But yeah, it was also difficult because he's a very complex and a lot of emotional range in the movie, where there's a lot going on, and I had to go to some pretty dark places, but I had a lot of help from everyone that was there, and also even beforehand for when I was preparing myself.
Well, and that's what I was curious for, with it, you being one of the writers and then acting in it. I was just curious if you found that you were even harder on yourself because you had so much invested into it, and you're like, in your head, you're just mentally, you're like, I know this character, this is how it would happen. And
yeah, I mean, I think I put a lot more pressure building up to the shoot, but then once we were shooting, it was like, this is mine. Like, I got this. And, you know, like there were still challenges, but it was like, at no point was I worried about that, where it was just like, no, you know the right choices, you know what Andre would do in this situation, and just be truthful to what you're, you know, going through and experiencing. But yeah, it's the whole thing is just, it's so interesting, and it's fun to look back and think about, you know, in a whole. Yeah. Sorry, I just like went back in time, and I was like,
just got lost in your own mind.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. And that's awesome. It's well deserved. Now, did I read correct? Like everything was shot like in 2012?
No. Well, it was we finalized things this year, but we started the process. I mean, it's been a long journey, definitely. Yeah. But you know, like anything, like, especially because of the fact that, like a lot of independent movies, you know, it's a small, limited crew, or team working on it. But I mean, primarily throughout the entire thing, the two main people was Dave and myself. And, you know, that plus having to, you know, make sure other projects that came along the way, you know, that could sidetrack a little bit here and there, and then go back and, you know, try and get things done. But like, from writing to shooting to editing and everything else after that, you know, we were doing it. And it's crazy how, when you're so married to a project and, you know, you're going through all the different stages of pre-production and post and everything, there comes a point where you're like, I don't know anymore. Like, you can show me everything or anything, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And it was, you know, I'm thankful to have worked with Dave, where like there was a time when I had to step away and there was a time when he had to step away. Unfortunately, we had each other to kind of like step in and step up and be there for it. But it's difficult when you have such a small team where, you know, it's just you two making the decisions, and you just get so blinded. You're like, yeah, I think that'll work, but that can work, and maybe that will work. I don't know. It's all the same. What am I doing?
Exactly. Yeah. That's too funny, man. Now, so we're only a few days away from this finally getting to explode. Long time in the process. So I know that's kind of where your mind frame is set at. But in the future, does this seem like did the writing bug get you? Like, are you looking forward to penning some more stuff, or?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to answer that question, but real quickly, I just want to say how thankful we have been for, you know, people like yourself and everyone else that has gotten involved and has taken the time to watch movies, has reviewed it, has interviewed us. You know, it's you guys that are giving us the opportunity, being the small independent feature, to, you know, possibly, you know, have a nice, successful release. And without what you guys do, we would be nothing. And I just want to say thank you. You know, it really means a lot to us. And we Entertainment Weekly did a nice little bit on us yesterday, which was huge as well, because, you know, it is more of a genre film, but it was cool that they were willing and actually wanted to do a little bit on us. So, yeah, you know, but.
Well, thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. Well, I'm a big person where I believe, you know, where credit is due, and where people, you know, a lot of times people don't think to say, you know, give people the credit that they deserve. And I always try and make sure that I at least voice it once. But yeah, I got the writing bug, you know, I mean, and the producing bug. Like, going into this, I moved to LA to become, an actor, and that is where my passion really lies. And I love to be on set, and, I do regular acting, and I'm also a suit actor. I've been in many, suits as well. But, this experience has opened up two completely different, but fulfilling creative outlets, producing and writing. I've got two features that are different genres, that I'm writing. And then I have a TV pilot that I actually just finished recently, that I'm that's like my next focus is trying to get that picked up, because it's a really, really, really cool, relatable idea right now. It's very much, it's like the perfect timing for it. So,
Nice.
Who would have thought, like I definitely never would have thought of myself as a writer, but as any creative person knows, you're never limited to just one thing. I mean, I've growing up always been a jack of all trades. I rebuilt two cars. The car I drove out here, I built myself. Like, there's always been stuff that I've caught my eye on and done photography, and the list goes on and on. But yeah, so from here on out, the main focus is getting this released and really trying to make it the best that it could be. And then after that is trying to get this TV pilot wherever it can go. I don't know. I don't even want to say anything.
Yeah, don't.
And then on top of that, auditioning. Like right now I'm sitting here, I've got sides in front of me. I've got an audition tomorrow, and that's the real hopes. I mean, that's why Dave and I did this movie, was because we wanted to be doing what we love, and we want, hopefully, more opportunities. Like, it'd be great if this movie makes us gajillionaires, but we didn't go into it for the money. We went into it for the experience. We went into it to create something great that people can enjoy, and we went into it for the opportunity to do more work doing what we love. Like, that is success. Money will come. Like, as long as I got enough to survive, I don't really care. What I want is to be on set every day. Like, that's what I want.
I feel like that's the goal. So, the meaning of life, if you will, is to do what you love and be able to get by doing it.
And it's true, because it always works out at the end of the day. Like, I have one of my biggest mentors is my grandfather, my dad's dad. He's 93, almost 94 years old, and he still works full time. They just came into town for my 30th birthday, and he brought me my favorite painting that he's done. And, I asked him, and I said, and other people have asked him, like, when are you going to retire? And he says, the day I retire is the day I die.
Yeah.
The only thing that keeps him going is he reads and writes every day. He's got 6 novels, and he paints. And like, by no means has he ever been a very wealthy man, but he's always provided, well for his family. But the most important thing is that he has always been happy, and he's so rich with happiness and fulfillment in everything he's done. And like, I look at that, I'm like, if I could only be blessed to have half of what he has, in this world, and it'd be amazing. And especially like the fact that he's been doing what he's loved since he was, a young boy. And that's amazing, because so many people go out there and they settle, and, I get it. Like, it's scary to go put yourself out there, and, sometimes you're putting yourself in a situation where you're never going to have security. That's a very scary thought. But I also know that I wouldn't be happy doing anything else.
No, and that speaks volumes, man. That it's the passions there, the brilliance. And like you said, I think a lot of people get caught up on like, what is wealth? And to so many people, they get confused with richness being money versus being happiness. And happiness is the true goal. Trying to figure out how you can do what you want to do, what you want to be happy doing the rest of your life. And maybe you don't get rich, but the happiness in the time spent doing what you love, I mean, you can't really put a price on that.
No. And at the end of the day, if you can't find a way to be happy when you don't have money, how do you think you're going to be happy when you do have money?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. If you can't figure out one thing when in that situation, then there's no way you're going to ever find it, and that's really a personal thing. And I think that I've been on an everlasting journey to find, happiness and to be content. And that's a natural thing. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of, my way of looking at things has been adjusted. And I'm just, I know I say it a lot, but I really am just so thankful for the opportunities that have come my way and the opportunities that will come my way, because I've been very fortunate, and you know, it's not everyone gets to say that, but I definitely count my blessings, and I'm just thankful to be able to do what I'm doing.
Well, and it's the grind, right? A lot of people don't understand. They think it's going to be effortless. Like even you talking now, you've got this movie it's been in the works forever. It's about to get taken off. You've got several other projects that you're looking to pitch afterwards, as well as being an actor. And you've got different auditions you're going to go on. Like you've kept busy. Like even when this was going on, like just looking through your like IMDb, you're like, this motherfucker's been busy the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to live off of acting for only 2 years now. But prior to that, I mean, it was always, I'm thankful for bartending. And you know, even when we did this movie, I remember working up to it, you know, or even in between, because I had a weekend off in between. I was working to pay for the movie, you know, so like it's. The grind never stops, but it goes back to what I said before. You know, I've had people ask like, well, how long until you go back to Chicago? How long do you give yourself?
Yeah.
You know, and I say, I've got a lot of friends, really smart friends. A lot of them are lawyers, teachers, just came back. A friend of mine, one of my best friends, got married in Mexico and, literally got back 2 days ago. And, you know, they're all successful in what they're doing. And I always refer to that. You didn't become a lawyer overnight. You didn't become a teacher. You didn't become a doctor, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You had to put in hours and hours and hours of studying and tests and everything. And then even then you don't get to the point where you want until you've worked to that point. So yeah, I've been here 10 years and I'm only now starting to feel like, you know, the ball is starting to roll, the momentum's starting to pick up. But that just means I'm ready for another 10, 20, 30 years to see where it all goes, because it's getting and it's going and it feels really good, you know? So, you know, that's such a crazy thing to me where it's like you said, you got to put in the grind. And as long as you like what you're doing, it'll get hard, but, you know, stay true to yourself and everything always works out at the end of the day. And that's really it.
Exactly. Yeah, man. No, it sounds like, you know, kind of, you know what you're doing, you know, exactly kind of what direction you want to be in. Like you said, you got the traction, things are starting to pick up. I know as soon as this movie comes out, you're going to see some great things, because it is fantastic. With the,
well, you know,
yeah.
I was just going to say with this industry and with Hollywood and stuff like that, you know, all it takes is someone noticing that you know what you're doing. And it sounds really ridiculous or, you know, really simple, but it is just that simple, where, you know, in the industry, they're putting big risk on you, and they have to feel comfortable that you can, you know, give them the performance and also bring out the viewers and, you know, deliver. And so rightfully so. And, you know, as an actor, I'm fortunate that I got to go ahead and do casting and stuff like that. And I've been through the process. So I have it easier than other actors, because if I don't get cast in something, I know that it's not because of me. And then, well, it's also because I know that I put in the time and the effort to get ready for the role. But I know that they're looking for something so specific to what they need that it has nothing to do with whether we're friends or this or that. It just matters of, are you the guy or are you not the guy?
Exactly. Yeah. That makes sense. Now with,
but what was that?
No, I was going to cut into something, but feel free to finish.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with that, the old pilot there, is there anything that you can kind of let loose, or you got to keep that close to the chest?
Ooh,
no pressure, man. No pressure.
That's a good one. So it's a dramedy.
Nice.
It, again, I guess I didn't realize it until after I had a few close friends read it. It takes a lot from me, you know. They're like, oh, I know this, but I know that, and I could totally see this in your life. And so a lot of it stems from my own personal experiences and my own personality, but it's something that you would see on Netflix that would be totally realistic, and in the real life situations, there's a lot of funny and a lot of ridiculous funny, but it's real funny, which is a nice difference. You know, yeah. I appreciate sitcoms, and I haven't done up until this point a lot of comedy, but I love doing comedy. It's something that I find so much fun and actually comes naturally. But yeah, so it's something. It'll be cool because it's very different from all the stuff that I've done up until this point.
That's pretty cool, man. Well, I'm glad you shared that a little bit. And I'm glad you brought up Netflix, because that's kind of the direction I was going to take next. Would be, you talked about being a suit actor. And so I was going to pick your brain a little bit on that. How did you come into playing? Like, you've had a couple different creatures that you've gone through. And yeah.
I've had a couple of creatures, and then something that not many people know other than the ones that know me. I'm the gorilla for all the Gorilla Glue stuff commercials.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing where I actually fell into suit acting, and it was a long time ago. It was when I first moved out here, and it really came down to someone was working on a show, and they need an actor because the actor that they hired couldn't, like, he was fainting and he couldn't bring the creature to life. I mean, for those that don't know what suit acting is, it's, you know, there's a guy in the Alien, in the Predator suit. There's, you know, for one person that I'm definitely so, you know, inspired by, who's actually become a really good friend of mine, Doug Jones, who actually got yesterday, he was cast. They revealed that he was cast in the new Star Trek series. It was cool because on Entertainment Weekly, they had a little bit on him, and then like halfway down the page was our little thing on It Watches, and him and I were talking like, it's a good day for both of us. But yeah, so suit acting, you know, it's different than regular acting because, one, you have to bring whatever it is that you're bringing to life, whether it be an animal or a creature. And then two, it's very demanding physically. You know, a lot of times these suits get to be upwards of 115 degrees. And then there's usually animatronics, you know, that are being done, worked by other people. But it's so different, but I'm so thankful that I fell into it because, one, I love being on set, and the way I looked at it was, hey, this is a chance for me to be on set more, meet new people. And also I'm thankful because it's a real honor to be doing something that, you know, is not everyone can do, you know, and it's cool to get to, you know, go through the experience of them building the suit around you and get to see it from beginning to end. And also, you know, it's different when people they don't know that it's you under there. And then when they found out, they're like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, yeah, that was my favorite, you know, creature or character or this or that. And so, so it's such a different experience, but nonetheless, it's something that I look forward to, you know, continuing on in my career. And I've actually got a script that involves some suit acting. So, but again, something totally different that's never, ever been done before. So that I can't say a word about, but it's a really cool, really big idea. So I would definitely need to get involved with some studio to help me out. But I think that it stands a chance. The idea is there. Nice. So as long as I'm able to pull my end with the writing, we'll make it happen.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Because that's essentially what I did. So I watched the film, and then I was like, all right, now I got to get to know this dude. And I'm going through, and I'm like, Kifo the gorilla?
Yeah, Kifo from Zombies. Yeah. And then there was the creature in Under the Bed. which was also with Stephen Miller, a really fun, crazy creature. But yeah, the most recent was Kifo the gorilla in Zombies, which is on Netflix right now. And, man, that was a lot of fun. Especially, at the premiere, we were doing a live tweet, and we actually managed to get up to like number 2 and trending, on Twitter, which was really cool. But, it's a fun movie, for those type of movies. It's definitely not what you expect. And, I got to work with a lot of really talented actors, and one in particular, the little girl, Lala Nestor, who is just adorable. And she's so funny. She'll comment. She's like, when am I going to get to see my bestie? And, she's going to be a big star. That's for sure. She's got what it takes. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's such a different experience again, going into it. And, everyone on set was really cool because they've never worked with someone, in a suit. So before shooting, I made, everyone from cast and crew take 5 minutes to listen, and I kind of walked them through it, because one of the most important things is that people realize you tend to forget that someone's in that suit. But when you're shooting in the middle of summer and you're outside, if you don't cooperate, you've only got X amount of time to do your take until it's like, hey guys, I'm going to have a heat stroke. And
exactly.
Whatever suit actor is in the suit, they have to take that seriously, because your health comes first. And, I've had some close calls, and I've learned that you got to speak up and make sure that people understand it's not a joke. And it's really cool to be in a situation where I'm doing something that not many people know how to get into and get involved in. And I actually yesterday had someone on LinkedIn message me asking for advice on how to get involved. And, I tried my best to give her some direction, because it's difficult when you don't know where to even begin. But I love that. I love it when I get hit up all the time, other, aspiring actors asking for help, and, even just, ideas of what they could be doing. And I'm always happy to give my 2 cents. Whether or not it works for them, I don't know, but it really, there's no harm in trying to help someone out.
Well, yeah, you can only say what you know, right? So, I mean, you base it off of that. And that's why I brought it up, because I thought that was a really interesting thing, is suit acting, because I've never talked to anybody who has done it. And I'm like, how do you fall into that? How are you like, you know what? Over here, I'm the gorilla. I'm the one that's going to be able to do this.
When I got asked to do that first job, I got the call, and it was like, would you be willing to do this? And, I was just like, oh, work, be on set? Yeah, of course. Little did I know what I was signing up for. And, when I got to the effects studio and they were starting to build the suit around me, and I started getting a little bit more of an idea, and they were doing, head cast and, all these different things, I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, this is awesome, but this is crazy. I had no idea what it was up until then, and I was one of many people that when you see those movies, you don't think about what else goes into it. Who is that under there? And that whole sort of side of it, which is a totally different beast.
Yeah, exactly. And so with Kifo, did you watch stuff on gorillas to find out mannerisms and stuff like that? Where with the creature, did you have a little bit more play, or was there a specific tone that you had to hit with the creature as well? So it was kind of like you had to do a certain way. Interestingly
enough, the Gorilla Glue stuff actually was prior to that. So I had my gorilla down pat.
Nice.
But I mean, so many of my jobs, and I'm so thankful that I have amazing friends and just people that have come across my path, that so many of my jobs have been from someone needing a suit actor or an actor and someone knowing me and actually, putting my name out there and getting hired just off of that, So for that, they went through 3 actors, and one passed out, one wasn't able to hold the gear on, and the other couldn't bring it to life. So there's all these different variables that came into play. And I went in and I didn't practiced before, but my main thing was I just thought back to when I was at the zoo, and you think back to the distinct gorillas have very distinct movements.
Mm-hmm.
Their back legs stay straight, everything's in the upper chest, and so they have a very distinct walk to them, and their whole like you were saying, their mannerisms and everything like that. And and it was really funny when I went into audition for Zombies, I sent them all of my creature work or suit acting work before, but I guess they didn't get it or they didn't see it. And so I actually auditioned with no suit on, acting like a gorilla for the audition, which was really, really, you have to have fun with it and play with it. And
Yeah.
it was fun. But then afterwards we were talking, I was like, oh, where'd you guys get your suit? And I said the name of the shop, and he was like, oh, wow, how'd you know that? And I was like, and he's like, you know what? You look really familiar. He's like, are you the guy that's on their website? I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me.
And so lo and behold, then everything kind of came into the picture, and he was like, oh, like, of course you're the guy that we're going to use.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's the guy from the website. All right.
Yeah.
So then, like you mentioned, Zombies is on Netflix. I haven't watched that yet, but I watched a bunch of the behind the scenes, and it looked like you all just had a whole lot of fun.
It was such a blast. I mean, anyone that has had the pleasure of working on a film and, getting to know the experience, every movie is a different family, and it makes it really amazing and fun and a pleasure to do. But it also makes it difficult at the end where, you move on and everyone goes off to do different things. And,
Mm-hmm.
You try and stay in touch. And obviously there's the few that you actually do stay in touch with the most. But yeah, every movie is a different family, and you get to have, whatever X amount of days or weeks together and really build a bond in that time, because you're together every day, all day long.
That's cool, man. And so, like, Netflix announced today that they were doing a global rollout where you can now download and watch things offline. And I'm just curious.
Really?
Yeah, I guess you didn't know. Yeah, I was just reading the article actually just before this. They were talking. That's their new big global step that they started today. If you update the app, you can go ahead and download things, and then you can watch it on the go.
See, now my question is does it expire after a certain amount of time, or do you just get to keep that for free and you never have to stream it again?
I don't know. That is an excellent question.
I'm talking to you like you're a representative of Netflix.
Actually, here at Netflix,
But that's cool. That's interesting. I being in this industry and watching over time how things are changing and things are taking a very big shift into the whole VOD market and all these different, Netflix is a huge studio essentially now, and YouTube starting to have their own original content, and Amazon and Hulu and everyone. And it's amazing, but it's like you're uncertain. You never know which way it's going to go. And it's kind of, especially because of the fact that the studios just do major big budget movies nowadays. And it'd be nice to see them go back to their old formula where, it wasn't just 10, $200 million movies. It was a couple really big ones. And then they have 40 other in-betweeners.
Mm-hmm.
But, I guess that's where the independent filmmaker comes in line. And that's where we get that type of fix for those type of movies that aren't just big and over the top and are more dialogue and performance driven.
Well, it's pretty interesting. Like you said, we kind of live in this age where, as the consumer of the movie, we want it when we want it and we want it now, kind of deal. And there are different avenues that are providing that service for you, and so it's cool. So I talk to a lot of folks from the movie and from the music industry, and both industries are huge on this sort of digital switch platform. And I've talked to bands that have been around for 20 years and how they've changed the motto to try to cope with what's going on now. And it's this sort of weird industry where everything's always changing. And like you said, you never kind of know which avenue is going to be the best to pick to go. And we've got a juggernaut like Netflix, who if you talked about when it first came out and it was just the service that sent DVDs to your door or VHS tapes to your door, you're like, there's no way that 10 years from now they're going to be the juggernaut. They're going to have their own fucking content that is actually a lot better than a lot of the stuff that's out there.
Oh, I love their original content. But of course, we didn't know, because if either of us knew, we'd be rich because we would have
exactly. I would be Mr. Netflix.
But you know, like, I mean, another big thing to look at is growing up. I mean, and even to this day, one of my favorite things, and it still gives me like a surreal experience and gives me kind of chills, is going to the movies and watching the big screen.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of kids, you know, are still going to get that, but not as many as before, because a lot of times they're just staying at home and watching from their tablet or their, you know, computer or whatever. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how that's going to affect the future of filmmakers and actors and all this stuff. You know, are they going to be the same, or are there going to be more? Or are there going to be less? I don't know. It's the thought that I've been kind of mulling over, and I'm like, that to me, I still go see movies at least a couple times a month. I mean, that's like my thing, where I'll go even by myself, and I really just enjoy the experience, the going to the cinema.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like when I was growing up, that was the thing to do. If we were going to do anything, we were going to go to the movies. And now I'm adult, I have kids, and it's very infrequent. And then even sometimes when we're talking about going, I'm like, hassled. And then once I get there, it's this feeling. I don't even know what it is about, like, going into this giant, like, auditorium setting and watching a film. And it instantly brings me back to why I loved that shit when I was younger. And
yeah, I mean, it's magical.
It is. It definitely
corny as it sounds, yeah. It really is magical.
But and then there is this switch where, like, the people that are kind of growing up now, like you said, they can usually find a way to get this stuff instead of going to the theater. There's diehards that are still going to go. But more and more, a lot of people will be like, well, if it's not the big budget, everything blow, like, you need to see it. If it's just a dialogue driven movie, you can kind of get, you know, almost an even more intimate sort of watching in your own house and such. So it's such a weird sort of thing.
I mean, you hit it on the nose, where it's like, if it's not going to be this, like, bigger than life, you know, movie that everyone's got the hype about, they're like, well, why am I going to go waste my money? I don't know. It's just, to me, that's like, well, because that's what the basis of film is. Like, I don't know. But then again, things are meant to change and evolve and stuff like that. So, and I definitely, I love what is being created by all these, streaming companies. So, you know, there's two sides to everything. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just see kind of how this plays out. So It Watches coming out very soon.
Yeah, December 6th on VOD, and then it's already on pre-order on Amazon, but officially will be out February 21st.
Nice. That's great. Pick it up or go watch it. You gotta. Honestly, I really do like the flick. I like it even more after talking to you, because you're a really cool guy, and I mean, I wish nothing but great things for you.
Oh, well, likewise, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and I've really enjoyed this nice little chat. It's funny, yesterday when you posted, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to talk to him finally. Like, I've been looking forward to this for a week now.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. Like, I'm just totally enjoying doing this with getting to see, like, I love these films. Like, to me, this is all these films that I'm getting to see through the screeners. They're not necessarily the big explosion budget, but it's like, man, these are the films that I like. These are the ones that they're the underdogs. These are the ones that I'm going to get to root for as I start to see them come out, and then getting to sit down and actually talking with people that I just watched on the screen. Like, it's mind blowing to me as a like a movie fan. So,
well, I mean, again, like you said, like the smaller or independent or this size films, we don't have the massive backing of studios and the promotional, outreach that they have. But at the same time, I gotta say, Uncorked has been really amazing with us, and they've been very, very helpful. And we had our sales agent that he was rooting for getting Uncorked, and then on top of it, Uncorked hired October Coast, our PR firm, that's been helping us out. And it starts from the beginning and it goes all the way through the end. To have a successful film, all cards have to line up, and that's what it is. And say it again, thankful to have so many team players that believe in it and are willing to put their neck out and their word out and try and get people to watch it. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully people will decide to check it out.
They fucking better. Or I'm going to go talk to them.
And if they don't, I'm still going to come out with the next thing.
There you go. Exactly. But that's what I try to tell people. I'm like, yo, if you're going to sit there and complain and bitch about how they just keep making recycled shit, then you need to start supporting indie film. That's where the real shit is.
Well, and I guess maybe that's the issue, is maybe they don't know how to find that independent stuff. There's a lot of people that are into independent movies and know, but maybe right there is something that needs to be looked at. Maybe there needs to be a more clear outlet for people to find that work. Or maybe I'm crazy to say that. Maybe there is, and I just don't know.
Well, and that could be it. There could be something that's super simple that we're talking about that someone will listen to.
The missing link. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the meantime, man, like, how can my listeners find out more about you? You got some social media, some websites you can lay on them?
Absolutely. So, I first and foremost, you could always check my IMDb page, see what I have in development or anything that's going to be coming out. I also have my website, my full name, and then all my social media pages are my full name. So Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. So, and that's part of being an actor these days, is you have to be proactive with the social media. And you know what? It's actually really cool, because getting to talk to people firsthand is really an amazing thing. And on top of it, I wouldn't have been able to have that quick chat with you beforehand if it wasn't for social media.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was so crazy that I was able to find you, and then now we're connected, and yeah, we just throw it back and forth.
Honestly, I'm so happy you did, because I feel like a lot of people are unsure of it. And I was just like, oh yeah, this makes it so much easier. Like, boom, right there.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
So that's well, what was that?
Well, I was just gonna say, so I'm gonna throw all your links in there so people can support this film when it comes out, man. Honestly, like, you got to get out, you got to help out. The film was great. You're a fucking awesome dude. So, I mean, anything that we can do on our end, we're gonna push, we're gonna do, and try to sing from the rooftops and get that put out for you.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And you know what? I'm very confident that, letting things kind of play out how they need to, and as long as we did our job, things will work out, the best. So, but again, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough.
No, thank you so much for being on, man. I can't wait to see where this goes, and maybe down the line we'll sit down, we'll talk again.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds good, brother. Thanks for being on the show.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivan Djurovic. What a great guy. Awesome conversation. Had a lot of fun. Learned a lot about him, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. Personally, I loved It Watches. I believe it's out now, just because we pre-record these. Go take a look. All the links will be in the post for this. And yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy your week. Run along, kiddies.
Hey guys, it's Fear from FYFC Studios. Look, I really hope you're enjoying Talk Life, FEARCast, or A&Way. Plus, there's always lots of entertainment over on our website. Because I'm a cannabis advocate and often forget things, I wanted to make a little bumper to get you fine folks to head over to nftfyb.com. No fucking time for your bullshit. That's how we do. Again, that's www.nftfyb.com. Feel free to reach out on any social media. We're always looking for cool people to talk to, get somebody else's opinion on something, crazy stories you see in the news that you'd love to see us react to. Look, we'll probably never be consistent, but we'll always be entertaining. Thank you for listening. One last time, nftfyb.com.